Welcome back. Welcome back, friends, to The Real Dad Show. This is episode number, we're going to go with 62 because I forgot to check. But those of you that follow the show a while know that I've done that before. I forget the episode numbers that we've got going on, but that's okay because it doesn't really doesn't really matter. Everybody knows I cough every time I start the intro as well. So that's just how we roll here at The Real Dad Show. We are, as we say, real. And there's the music. It says goodbye. And being real today, I'm kind of, in a sense, winging it. Not really. I have 4 bullet points here. Actually, three, and then I forgot to write something, and then I pushed it off to the side. But I feel like sometimes I could just talk better. I know what I want to talk about. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not just throwing on the mic and just going, hey, I want to talk about stuff. Because I respect your time and I respect your focus, and I try to keep this around 20 minutes, but I wanted to have a point. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in my life. This is what we do here at The Real Dad Show. I talk a little bit about what's going on in my life, sometimes more, sometimes less. Lately, it's been a little bit less, but that's okay. And we talk about what's going on in my spiritual growth, and I tie it back to being a dad or being a man. So that's what we're going to do today. Today, I want to talk about 4 things. We're going to talk about a little run I did. I'd like to talk a little more about my fitness and stuff we're doing because it's really cool. And if you're looking on the video, you know that I am one specimen of a man, and I'm totally kidding. I run a bazillion miles, and I'm Italian, and I like to eat bread. So, that's just how we roll here. But, I feel healthy. I'm probably almost as healthy as best I've ever been. I'm trying to get kind of back there, but I enjoy running. So we're going to talk about my run today. I want to talk about how I've been crazy busy and something I did that completely fixed my brain, at least from exploding in the last couple days. So we'll talk about that. A little bit from Iron John, this book I'm reading. Man, this is such a good book. And I just bought another 800-page book. I'm insane. It's a Dostoevsky book or something that I heard Matt Walsh talking about on his podcast, who I just discovered, by the way. Pretty cool stuff if you're more into the politics. And then some perspective from the men's breakfast we had. Holy smokes, I walked out of there going, oh, I need to write this down. I need to have this all together because I want to share some of the stuff with my audience. So here we go. Today I should do this. Today we ran to the beautiful Santa Rosa Plateau. Any of you who follow me on Facebook know I put these goofy videos, and I shared something today because my phone crashed, so I wasn't able to put a video, but we discovered that tarantulas are scary spiders. Not just because they look scary, but they're really fuzzy and cozy. And no, these things, they launch at you and they stick their feet up and they look evil and they're the holy smoke. So yeah, we did that. Now, mind you, we're guys, and we did kind of poke at it with a trekking pole. But don't tell anyone that. But they are still scary. Holy smoke. So we did a little 11-mile trail run this morning. Woke up at the, crack of dawn and got out there. And, man, listen, guys, not everyone's a runner. I get it. You should be. But I don't want to tell you what to do, but you should be a runner. And you should run trails. I'm kidding. I love it. And I would be completely insane, friends. I would be absolutely 100% completely insane if I didn't go out and run these trails. I have Santa Rosa Plateau. Those of you familiar with the Southern California area, the Murrieta area, it's this big area. I keep saying area. Like, what's this guy keep talking about area? But that's it. So we went out there and we discovered that the tarantulas are pretty scary spiders. The other day I was out there and I nearly stepped on a snake. Holy smokes. But you know what? There's something about, of course, living through that. There's something about that. When you're done, you go, wow. I mean, it's funny. I'm out there with my buddy and we're poking at tarantulas and then wondering why they're scary and they're trying to attack us. But when you're done with it, you look back and you go, wow, it was like 9 o'clock. I was home. We were getting ready to go to church. And I'm like, wow, I ran 11 miles. I can eat as much bread as I want. And enchiladas, which I'm making, by the way. And what an awesome accomplishment. It just makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, you know what, I can do anything. I just push through. So those of you that are considering running or starting with small distances, I just want you to know I've ran a few marathons. I've signed up for another one. But the first time I started running, I'm not an expert, by the way. I'm not even I'm very slow when I run. But the first time I started running, I ran about half a mile, and I thought my lungs were going to explode. So I just went back at it the next day and next day and next day. And I've been running since, I think, 2010. So here we're at 16. So You do the math. That's too much. It's Sunday. I don't do a math. I'm recording this on a Sunday, by the way. But so that's it. That's what I did today. Another thing I had going on this week, and I've shared with it. You probably, if you're listening to my show in order, you probably could see that my brain is getting ready to explode. I'm the type of person that have so many things going on in my head. I'm an introvert, even though I put myself out there and I'm not shy. I am actually an introvert. I have bazillions of things going on in my brain. Now, what separates me from someone who's psychotic, I think is the word, or crazy or whatever, schizophrenic, I think is the word I was looking for, is the fact that the conversations I have going on in my head are actually just things, ideas, not actual conversations going on inside my head. But it had been really catching up to me lately. Just lots of stuff, and it was making me kind of cranky, just to be honest. Just totally cranky. It was just too much going on. So I sat down, and now not everybody has the video here. I will put a picture on the, what's it called? My brain just stopped working. Somebody get me some iced tea. My brain stopped working. Let's see. A blog post. There we go. Show notes. That's how things go here. When you wake up as early as I did this morning to do that run, there's nothing left in my brain, but I still wanted to record this. So I'm going to just take this camera here. We're going to lift this microphone out of the way. And again, I will probably forget. Somebody call me out on it, but I am going to take a snapshot of this. The one thing that has really helped me, I'm going to show the picture and then I'm going to tell you what it is. So it's not going to take that long. So as you can see on my newly painted walls, thanks Mom and Dad, there's 2 whiteboards there, and just doing some brainstorming. Pardon my walking away from the microphone there. And then I've got another one. See if I can see that. There we go. Let's set the camera back up. This video will be on the whatever it turns out to be. It will be roccodelio.com/62, I think. If it's 61, then it'll be 61, whatever it is. You'll see. In post-production, you'll see what it is. That's just how I'm going to do it. So I took everything out of my brain. I call it a brain dump or mind dump or whatever you want to call it. I listened to a lot of productivity shows. Mike Vardy has one. I think it's called The Productivityist. Eric Fisher is another one. Typically interview shows. Wait, I'm out of breath. What's going on here? I need to be more healthy. Eric Fisher has one called Beyond the To-Do List. There's a bunch of other ones. If you listen to those 2 guys, I think there's another one, The Productivity Show by Agent Efficiency. Find one that works for you. Find 2, 3, or whatever. I go through binge listening of those and just being productivity, getting things done, all that stuff. That's not what the show's about, so I don't want to get way off on a tangent there. But this is, I want to be honest with you, this is really, in the last couple of days, has cleared my mind. Mind like water, like David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done, talks about. So whatever it is, if you have a lot of things going on in your brain, you may not be like me. You may not be nearly half as insane as I am. Then you're fine. But sometimes you just have to get stuff out of your head. And I put everything on the whiteboard, and I'm not scheduling. I'm just looking at it. It's up there. There's ideas, stuff that I want to do, that I might want to do. And I'm going to leave it up there until I decide, do I want to do it or not do it? And then I'm going to schedule one thing at a time and then just kind of go from there. So I'm going to move on here. Two more things I want to share with you. This is sort of the meat and potatoes, as we say, in the biz, in the old podcast biz here. So meat and potatoes here. One is this book, Iron John. I've talked about this, I want to say, at least on one other episode. It's an amazing book by Robert Bly, and it talks about, it's called a book about being a book about men, and the show is about men. So, I should read this, I guess. And I'm going to take a step back. I need to catch my breath, and nobody wants to hear me breathe. There we go. I'm back. I'm not going to edit that. People will say we edit that. They never do. I'm not going to edit. You're still here, so I appreciate you hanging out through my catching my breath. So this book by Robert Bly, I've talked about it a little bit before. I did a post a couple weeks ago. I should know this, but I don't. About manhood or authentic manhood. I have a link to my Good Men Project article that I really dug deeper in this from the Wild at Heart book that influenced that. And this kind of goes along with that. This is actually written before it, but very, very similar concepts. So something jumped out at me while I was reading this week, and I say, hey, I want to share this with my audience. Again, it's funny how this works out, right? When you have a little bit of an audience, even if it's 5 people, and you want to share something, right? I get excited about sharing this stuff, even though I'm kind of out of breath right now, but we're going to roll. We're going to roll with that. So he talks about here on page, in the chapter is The Darkened Father, the section of the chapter, The Darkened Father. And he's talking about society and the way sons look at fathers. So let's catch this here. He talks about fathers are smaller now, not size. We're actually bigger, but a father now. When a father now sits at the table, he seems weak and insignificant. Let's back up here a little bit. The system of industrial domination determines how things go with us in the world of resources, values, and allegiances. What animals live, what animals die, how children are treated. And in the mode of industrial domination, there is neither a king or queen. So he was talking about just how things were done in the past, how fathers did their work in front of their kids. They were farmers, they were blacksmiths, or whatever they were. And now they don't. They go out of the house and they work in this corporate environment. Some of them love their job, some of them don't. I'm the lucky one to love my job. But a lot of them they disappear. They're not this tough, even if they are tough, they're not all day there in front of their kids, this tough man, just showing them how to live and how to protect their family as men of yesteryear used to be. So when he goes, when a father now sits at the table, he seems weak and insignificant compared to how they used to be. And we all sense that fathers no longer fill as large a space in the room as 19th century fathers did. Some welcome this, but without understanding all its implications. So I'm not going to get too deep into that today, but we talk about there was a feminist, there was a swing of the men were the women felt oppressed, and then they pushed the men back, and then sort of this back and forth in society. People don't realize, or people haven't thought about the unintended consequences of emasculating men or taking away that large presence that men as fathers, that presence that they should have. And we see the failure in our kids. We see the struggle, the kids that are seeking strong fathers and strong mothers too, but we're talking about fathers here today. The demons who have set up a propaganda shop in the son's psyche convince him that his father's darkness is deeper than the son ever imagined. What can be done about that? The son finds out early that his mother cannot redeem his father. Moreover, in most cases, she doesn't want to. The only one left is the son. So we build maybe this codependency or whatever's going on there. But they're looking for some strength in their father. And many fathers they're going to work, and we'll get into this a little bit, but we're talking about passiveness. And I talked about that in a previous episode. The fathers are passive. And if you don't feel like you're a passive father, that's good. I don't feel like I'm a passive father, but I've been there. I have been a passive father. I just went to work and I said, I work, you take care of the kids, and that didn't work. That was in my first marriage early on. So some sons fall into a secret despair. They have probably adopted by the time they are 6 their mother's view of their father, and by 20 will have adopted society's critical view of fathers, which amounts to dismissal. But what can they do but ask a woman for help? The request is not all bad, but even the best-intentioned women cannot give what is needed. Again, I've talked about this before. John Eldridge talks about this as well. We can't go to women for that masculine question. What's it mean to be a man, a strong man? God bless you women, especially you single mothers who try, because that's all you could do. And you're going to do the best you can. I'm a single dad, and I have girls. I can't give them that feminine thing, but I'm going to do the best I can. And I'm going to try to have some strong or some good women around me to help with that. And then you're going to do the same, right? Some father-hungry sons embody a secret despair they do not even mention to women. Without actually investigating their own personal father and why he is as he is, they fall into a fearful hopelessness, having fully accepted the generic diminished idea of father. I am the son of defective male material, and I'll probably be the same as he is. And this is where, if the boys and women, I'm going to just say this is why it's important that you prop up your men. And men, you need to prop up your women as well. But we need to have the appropriate reaction, the appropriate relationships in our home, where the men and women in their own roles are celebrated for being beautiful women and being strong men and authentic men. Without actually investigating. Here we go. I am then with the secret they give up. With this secret they give up, collapse, live with a numb place inside, feel compelled to be dark because the Father is dark. This is where they give up the fight. I don't want to try to be this strong man. I don't want to learn what it means to be a strong man. And a strong man is a man who can be vulnerable. A strong man can cry. A strong man can self-investigate. You're like, why am I this way? A strong man can forgive. A strong man can fight for what's right, and a strong man can take a step back and choose his battles. So without, again, getting way too far off here, this isn't strong man like I need to work out and have big muscles and always fight and always kick butt. Yeah, that's not what it is. And he says here, I'll kind of wrap it up here with this section. They lose the vigorous participation in political battles, so characteristic of 19th century men in the United States. Feel their opinions do not matter, become secret underground people, and sometimes drown themselves in alcohol while living in a burrow under the earth. Basically saying they give up. They give up the fight. They don't get involved. They don't have an idea of like, I want to get involved in the process. I want to no, I don't want to do it. They go to alcohol. They go to whatever it is that they've got going there. So I was reading that. I was like, wow, this is powerful stuff. And I hear this. And what I hear, again, I've shared with people, I do not have a father wound. I have a wonderful father. But I still understand, and I feel the Lord pulling me towards understanding this. Because I still have wounds. I still have pain. And I still don't understand exactly what it means to be an authentic man or what my role is to be. But I know one thing, my role is to be a dad. My role is to be a dad to my kids. And I have a boy, and I have 3 girls. And I need to understand that role, and this tells me like, you know, my kids need to see me as a strong man. Again, defining what strong man means as a man who can forgive, who can not fight, who can not always fight, a man who has self-control, and a man who can love, but also a man can fight for what's right. So that's very generic out there, but that's for probably another conversation because we're pushing 17 minutes here, and I still have one more thing I want to talk about, and that's perspective. That's the perspective. That was the title of his talk. And I just changed the page, and that was there. Perspective. We had an amazing opportunity to listen to a actually, I'm not sure if he's a preacher. Right? He's a prison ministry guy. Came and spoke on our men's breakfast. Gave a powerful message, and this guy like kicked everybody's butt. Holy smokes! I thought he was just going to start punching everybody, but he was awesome. Guys, this is what we want to hear sometimes, right? It's like, guys, I'm going to wake you up. He said some words like, whoa, and I'm not going to say them here, but he said some words like, holy smokes, this guy's for real. And one of the things he said, you're not going to tell me anything that I haven't heard before. I work at the prisons. Listen, this is, you guys here at the men's breakfast, you got nothing. So he caught my attention. And I don't have time, and I'm not going to take everything he says right now. I'll probably use this in some other conversations that we have, but something he said to us that really got to me. He's talking about glorifying God. And he sits on the stage there, and he taps the stage, and he says, there's an invisible man here, and it's Jesus Christ. And every time I'm going to do something, every time I'm going to think about doing something, I look to him and say, Mr. Invisible Man, hey, Jesus, is this going to glorify you? Is this going to glorify you? Is doing whatever, sleeping with this person, or bad-mouthing this person, or stealing this, or whatever, is this going to glorify you, God? And it just, wow. I've heard that a million times, right? For some reason, it really struck with what he said. Like, we have to be aware of that we want to glorify God in everything we do, and our kids are watching us. So before I wrap it up here, there was something else he said that really got me thinking. And I'm probably going to talk more about this because I'm running out of time here, but I want to talk a little bit about this, and it's surrendering to God, surrendering to Jesus. And he said there's 3 types of people here. Again, these are not my ideas. I don't want anyone to think that I'm that smart and I came up with these ideas. I just heard them, and I felt like I wanted to share them with you guys because you're important to me. So there's 3 types of people in this world. There's the people who are sold out, in a good way, by the way. It took me a second as my computer screen turns off. That's how we roll here. And it's back on. People who are sold out for Jesus have given it all to Jesus. Every waking minute, everything they do is they think about Jesus. Maybe these are the Apostle Pauls of the world. I don't know. It just completely, they're always there at the soup kitchen or what. I don't know. He didn't use those words, but I hope this makes sense. This is the people that I think we all strive to be, where we completely surrender our entire lives, our thoughts, and everything to Christ. Then there's the people who are saved but are living like dogs. Living like dogs. Like they're going to go to heaven and they know, well, I get this once saved, always saved concept that once I'm saved, I can't go to hell, that I'm guaranteed heaven. So I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and I'm going to live however I want to live. And friends, I've tried this before, and the consequences are pretty rough. And then there's the people who are not saved. So, and you may fit into that. I'm talking more to the people in the second column today, because I feel like I fit somewhere in between there. I don't feel like I'm living like a dog. I feel I have been there. I feel like I'm doing everything I can to completely surrender and to just completely sell out to Jesus. But as I find that volume's too loud, I find it's not that easy. But I think a lot of the power and the grace that we get comes from struggling, from at least recognizing that I'm broken and I need help, that I can't do this without Jesus. And if I'm moving in the direction from the dog to the surrender. Now listen, I've said, God, I surrender to you. Lord, I surrender to you. Just please don't make it hurt too much. Don't take too much from me. I mean, let me have some of the stuff that I like, that I'm attached to. Don't make it uncomfortable. I mean, I don't want to be uncomfortable. I want to surrender to you. But come on, geez, I've got needs. Don't make me have to be kind of embarrassed in front of people. No, I don't want to do that. No. I don't want it to be too hard, but I completely surrender to you. That sounds absurd, but that's how I feel sometimes. I'm just being honest. And it's okay, guys, if you feel the same way. It's like, I'm not ready to just completely give up. Just keep pushing. Just keep pushing. Just leave the doggy dog life behind, right? And just keep pushing. And just say it. I felt good to say it. I was saying it this morning. It's like, well, I sound like a moron. But I'd love to be a moron in the presence of Christ and have Christ just take me over. Well, friends, with that, we're a little long here. We're at about 24 minutes. I'm gonna let you go here, but we're gonna get more into this in some upcoming episodes. Thank you. God bless. If I were more professional, I would have removed the box off the printer behind me, but Real Dad Show. Real Dad Show. RockoTheLeo.com. Find me on Facebook. Friend requests. I'll take it. Peace out.